The video uploaded earlier has the thumbnail, Hamilton complicit with the script, as a question. Now, the actual answer to that, we don't know. We do not know. What that video displays is Hamilton's on board, which I'm going to show you this video, in greater detail. I'm going to give it full screen, uninterrupted, because I think some of you will appreciate seeing it for what it is. I was mindful that it would get blocked due to copyright. It is copyrighted material. The video isn't monetized, so that is what I'm anticipating would be the same here, but hopefully it's something that you can see. If you watch this video with the captions on, then it will actually give you what is being spoken by Hamilton and Bono during those laps where we're following Hamilton's on board. But also pay attention to turn 6 at lap 1 and the line that Verstappen takes in forcing Hamilton off the track, where he got to go. The line that he then does take in rejoining the track, which is the natural flow of things, and then watch Hamilton's line around turn 6 each time, each of those laps. And that will then demonstrate to you the line that Verstappen threw in there is in no way a natural line at all. Anyway, Hamilton complicit with the script. What is clear is that throughout the Abu Dhabi 2021 Grand Prix, it was continual drama. Okay, we've got the lap 1 incident, which then they keep blabbering on about for 8 laps, vilifying Hamilton. Has he got to give that place back? Should it be this? Should it be that? What do all the experts say? Oh, he's got to give that place back. Oh, the stewards are saying not. Red Bull will think he must be. If Red Bull want to appeal this, right, so they've got that going on for the first 8 laps. Then we go into the next phase, which is, and now we're going on to strategy. Tyre changes. Different tyre compounds, should be different strategies. Mercedes just copy the Red Bull 1 lap later, after Brundle has been suggesting that that's what Mercedes can do, which is not how you would work that on those 2 different compounds of tyre. Then we move into the Perez defence, that he should never have been in a position to be able to have that impact in the race. Had Mercedes utilised the medium tyres, they'd have outlasted Perez's softs. They put him behind Perez. This is all part of a plan that's playing out these acts in the play for the drama, creating this thing that is captivating people's attention the entire way through. Then we've got a virtual safety car. Whoa, what now? Something extra. What's the next bit of drama we're experiencing? What's the next bit of drama? So we've got virtual safety car. Oh, what happened there? Well, Max has pitted. Max is on fresher tyres. Can Max track him down on the fresher tyres? Is that going to work? Then we get the Christian Horner. Oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do now. We need some help from the racing gods. And then they got the help from the racing gods in the form of Nicholas Latifi crashing his car. Was told, must be this lap. Goes round. Well, he does the dance off with Mick Schumacher, that choreographed little tussle, getting onto the off-track area. Oh, it's the dirty tyres. He pushed me off, though. And then we go round turn 14. We put it in a lower gear, and we put the engine on the rev limiter, spinning up the back end. Oh no, Nicholas Latifi has crashed. Now you see, had that car not caught fire, it is highly likely that that incident would have been cleared prior to the end of lap 56, so that those lapped cars, all of them, could be released on lap 56, enabling lap 57 to be that mandatory safety car lap, making lap 58 a valid racing lap. The whole thing being manufactured to set up the World Championship being decided with a 1-lap shootout on the last lap of the season. That is what was manufactured. The Latifi crash was designed to manufacture that Grand Prix to be a drama all the way through, right? With the people being entertained and excited and the jeopardy of what's going to happen, and then a manufactured 1-lap shootout setting the two cars off almost together, and then the championship being decided on the last lap of the last Grand Prix of the season. That is what happened. It's not only possible to think of that and construct it in such a way, they did it. Now, your problem is what they didn't anticipate was Latifi's car catching fire. When them brakes caught fire, it ruined the plan, because you have to put the fire out. You can't just come onto the track with the crane, pick up a car that's on fire. All right. Obviously, there's great risk. A car being on fire, it's still got fueling in it, and if that fire spreads within the car, yeah, all hell's going to break loose. You have to deal with the fire. So, in dealing with the fire, that takes time. Firstly, the time, you've got to get a fire extinguisher, you've got to put the fire out before you even start approaching the car, right? So that already takes however many seconds, 10, 20 seconds, 30 seconds in doing that. It then fills the atmosphere with that powder, creating a dust, like a cloud of dust. Okay, you could see it as the drivers were coming around. Then, having done that, having cleared the car, rather than just have to sweep any bits of carbon fibre on the track, you've also got to sweep that powder off the track, which is clearly causing a hazard in terms of the fact that it's completely altered the grip levels on the track surface there, making the track unsafe. So that requires additional sweeping, which adds additional time to the clear-up operation, meaning that on lap 56, which was the crucial lap that those cars had to be released, the marshals were still doing that. So as this is unfolding, as they are realising, oh, time is ticking by, it goes from Brundle and Crofty initially saying, yeah, there's bound to be a couple of racing laps, and having to modify it and go, wow, will they let the lap runners through? I'm not sure it's mandatory, but that's normally on a wet day. Coming up with that to lie to everybody. And then they have to get Christian Horner, who's already told everybody that they need a miracle. Oh, we need you to improvise this one. Why aren't we getting these lapped cars out of the way? Because, Christian, because I'm trying to deal with this. My main big one is we only need one racing lap, which is what they were designing anyway, but they couldn't do it in accordance with the rules due to that car catching fire and the length of time it then took to clear it up. And so they broke the rules and manufactured it. Now, what was Hamilton complicit with? My point is that Hamilton should know that those medium tyres had life left in them, and he didn't need to pit immediately after. He also should know that he by staying on them for longer, if it's only a one-stop race, then he'd have less laps to do on the hard compounder tyre, which is surely more beneficial to him. There's no advantage in just covering Max immediately. Now, he didn't object to that. Whether he was complicit with this notion, whether it was explained to the whole grid, well, the eyes of the world will be on us. There will, if some guy just runs off into the distance and wins by, 30, 40 seconds, as we see in some Grand Prix, some people will just not be interested in that. But if all the way through this is a tight battle and all these different elements taking place of, oh, well, can now Max on the new tyres now go catching him up? Right, keep that all in play. And Hamilton might have gone, well, because Hamilton's been part of this sport since 2007. Hamilton has been the victim of shenanigans in this sport. We know that. So maybe he was thinking, okay, I know how this works. I know what this sport does. But I'll get myself into the lead, and we'll play their games. We'll mirror their strategy, but I'll still have the pace. Who knows? Only he will know. All right? But what we do know, because we can see it. We can see what they're doing. Throughout this, they are trying to keep engagement. They're trying to keep everybody excited. Because you know Grand Prix racing, many a race where it's just dull. 2023 season, Verstappen's qualified on pole because he's the best you've ever seen, right? And then, Verstappen's got off the line, he's in the lead. And then it's like, well, okay. And Verstappen's won by 40 seconds. All right. But had that been the last race of the season when they've got all these new fans, how many of those new fans would have gone, Formula One's brilliant? No, they're just gone, it's all right. Some cars going around the track and the fastest car just disappears off and wins by 40 seconds. Yeah, I think I'll leave it, thanks. But no, not when every 10 laps there's something new happening. What's going to happen now? What jeopardy? And you know what? That went all the way down to the last lap of the Grand Prix. And then a different guy won it. Oh, it's incredible. You can't take your eyes off this sport. You can't take your eyes off it. Anything can happen. As proven with Abu Dhabi 2021. You couldn't make it up, could you? Unless you do. So, I don't know in terms of Hamilton's level of complicity. I'm not denying what his ability is in terms of driving a car. I would have expected him to also have the knowledge of strategy as well, which I'm sure he has got. The fact that we didn't hear anything is the bit that surprises me. Whether, again, he just acknowledged that this is what the show does, but he'll deal with it and still win, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Only he knows that. Whether anybody will ever find that out, who knows. But that pit stop was not necessary and only fed into the narrative. Was he then knowledgeable about Latifi's crash? Well, when he passed the scene, that shake of his head looked authentic. It looked like it was then when it hit him, they're manufacturing this as well. Because again, he knows. He's seen the sorts of things that they do, and then he knew. And then he said, this has been manipulated, man. When he realised that all the way through, actually, when this thing had been scripted out, Red Bull's clever cards were always to be that they were in touch enough so that whenever the next incident happened, they could benefit from a free tyre change, but Mercedes couldn't because they would risk losing position and then put themselves in the clutches of either risking Max collide him out of the race or risking losing position and the race not restarting. But Mercedes was certainly complicit in terms of putting him behind Perez with that pit stop. They were then complicit with the steward's appeal and then complicit in no longer appealing. And they got the Constructors' Championship handed to them with the retirement of Perez. So Mercedes definitely did Lewis dirty. Judging by Lewis's reaction at the end of the Grand Prix, that seemed pretty authentic to me. That realisation of what had just happened to him appeared authentic. So, what I'm going to do is play you the uninterrupted footage of those first few laps, up to about lap 15, so just till after his pit stop, so you can watch them through. That thumbnail on the right hand side, I must have a word with whoever does my thumbnails to not make them so inflammatory. Anyway, we'll play you through this, and like I say, if you put the captions on, you'll get the written word of what some of the words that I couldn't pick up on Hamilton saying maybe they'll be able to be clearer for you with the captions on. Anyway, here we go. Let's hope it doesn't buffer on us.
And last car approaching the grid. Gap at 0.4 behind. So let's just
push me off track.
yeah, copy. We're happy with the gap that you've reinstated. Snapping out to 1.4. If you can get HPP 3, position 2. 3, position 2. And gap at 1.4.
Are we okay here, man?
A firm. So DRS has been enabled, gap at 1.5. And there's no investigation necessary for the lap 1, and surface temps management is good. Gap at 1.9. Only losses are areas of management. And you look strong, 12.13. And that gap at 2.1, Verstappen at 29.0. And gap at 2.1, Verstappen at 28.7. And if you can just update us on your tag mode. And you can go menu dash position 2. So Verstappen at 2.2, last lap 28.7, only losses are areas of management and straight line. Gap to Verstappen at 2.5. Last lap was a 28.6. You can update us with your tag level. And that gap at 2.6. The last lap was a 28.8. We'll probably just use a little bit more pace, just a couple of tenths. The time that was 3.086 off that 28.6. And turn 2-3 management similar to Verstappen. These are great laps, Lewis. Just keep it up. Just keep the pressure on. So gap at 3.9. The last lap was a 28.9. And if you go menu dash position 6 when you can, dash 6. great stuff, Lewis. You managed to break the toe. So that gap at 4.9, Verstappen at 29.1. We have H59, position 11. 9, position 11, when you can. And get behind 5.7, Verstappen at 29.3. This is great work, Lewis, just keep it up. Verstappen in the pit lane now. And it goes strap mode 4, strap mode 4. And just give us a balance check, balance check.
Balance is good. Tyres are still okay.
Okay, copy.
Next tyre, I'll probably potentially take out a hole maybe.
Copy that. Okay, Lewis, so box. And it'll be a shallow drop at the stop, shallow drop. and traffic with sights behind on exit. So you're all clear. So gap to Verstappen at 5.2. We'll try and maintain that gap. Just bring this set in nice and steady. And we just have Perez ahead, 11 seconds. He is inside our safety car window.
How much is he in?
You're safe by at least 3 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to pause it there. One of the things I've actually thought about whilst just watching it now is a possible explanation for Hamilton just accepting the tyre change when he's called in for box. His discussions might have taken place beforehand, and Bono might have informed him, if you do find yourself that you've managed to overtake Verstappen in the early stages of the race, what we'll do, we will mirror their strategy. If he pits, then we will pit to ensure that if there is such thing as a safety car, we don't find ourselves in a position whereby we have to slow down, and then when you do pit, they could pass, and whilst you're in the pits, convince Lewis that that was a possibility, and therefore by mirroring the strategy, that cut that out. So when all these gaps closed up and everything, you would not be finding yourself behind several cars because of that kind of scenario unfolding. Very unlikely in terms of it actually happening, because if an incident happens on track, then you as the race engineer, you as your team should be spotting what's happening, understanding what it's all about, and understanding whether they're going to deal with it with the safety car, and then pick your driver accordingly. When race control do decide to deploy the safety car, you should have had, like, for example, if you haven't reached the pit entrance and an incident happens, you should be able to react in time to go, well, in you come. If not, if you're past the pit entrance, then by the time you've rounded the last turn of the track, down the start-finish straight, rounded turn 1, well, the safety car shouldn't have been deployed onto the track and picking you up there. So you'd still be going around the track, all cars would be travelling to a delta, and you'd still be able to pit before the safety car picked you up next time. So that should never be in a situation that it's going to disadvantage you in such a way. But whether Bono's convinced Lewis that, well, this is what we're going to do, if Verstappen pits, we'll just mirror that because that's going to give us the best chance, and Lewis has gone fine. So when it happens, and he's gone, Verstappen's in the pits, and box for you now, because we're just going to copy this. Could be an explanation. I don't know. None of us do. This is speculation. What I'm just going to do, though, is give you some context in terms of how
with every lap
this was. So Lewis Hamilton started the race on mediums, and of the medium compound tyre runners, he's the first person to change off of them. And if we scroll this forward, let's just bring it all the way up here. And so Hamilton came off the mediums there, having completed 14 laps. Giovinazzi, who is now out of the race, he changed off of them. Russell did 26 laps on them and then retired. Raikkonen, he got to lap 20 odd. What's this one here? Stroll did, that's about 21 laps. Vettel about 23. Tsunoda about 22, 23. Bottas got to lap 29 on mediums. These drivers would have been following other cars in the dirty air, less aerodynamic efficiency, more chance of the car moving around because the aerodynamics were not pushing it into the track, therefore the likelihood that they'd experience greater scrubbing of the tyres. Lewis Hamilton had the clean air. Lewis Hamilton is reputed to be a smooth driver, tyre whisperer, so you'd think that he has at least the same. Okay, he's travelling faster, which is going to put more load through the tyres. He's lapping faster than all of these drivers. And obviously that means you're carrying more speed into the corners, which puts more load through the tyre. But that extra speed, that extra load should be offset by the fact that the car is planted. Whereas the other drivers, they've not got the aerodynamic efficiency, which again is going to impact whether the tyre is got to kind of deal with more side slipping. One should offset the other, you would think. You would think that Hamilton should have been able to get at least until lap 20 without a performance drop off of those tyres. In doing so, he should have been out of the clutches of Perez. This thing is just manufactured to create drama after drama after drama. To keep, oh, what's happening now? Oh, this has completely changed this race now. Completely changed the look of this race. Now Max is back within a second again. Will Max be able to make this up? 20 bonsai Schumacher-esque qualifying laps from Max. Think of all these things all the way through. All the way through. I'll go through the other parts of it. I've done Max 2. We've got 3, 4, and obviously 5 has been done many, many times. But the entire thing was a construct. Now, Hamilton's involvement, Hamilton's complicity within that, he's part of the show. Part of the show which is paying him handsomely, and they're all making money out of it. Is he part of defraudiness? How much of the show is authentic? How much of it is not? Did they just manufacture that one because they knew that that was a big chance to get a big audience? How much of the rest of the season was manufactured? You see, we can't really answer these questions, but ultimately, any speculation that we do on that doesn't change it. What should be able to change it is by using the clear evidence of what did take place and how inauthentic it is, and the fact that the rules were clearly broken, and all that was then done about it, and all the lies we've been fed about it, is enough to demonstrate that the entire thing was corrupt, and therefore the entire sport and the entire media needs to be held to account for that. Once you've held them to account, we can then seek to get the truth and seek to make changes and clear things up. Otherwise, we spend a lot of energy trying to identify all the things that are wrong, and they don't change. Now, trying to get change to happen is going to be difficult. I will make some videos explaining that. The mechanism that we have at our disposal to effect change is supposed to be the court system. Now, what I'm going to say now will disturb some people because you'll think it sounds like a conspiracy theory. But the reality is, the court system is a tool to protect power. The manner in which the whole construct of determining the difference between right and wrong, of you get somebody with a wig to represent you, and they get somebody with a wig to represent them, and then we play out this back and forth argument for a judge to interpret the law and decide an outcome. Well, that's just a tool of manipulation. Just a tool of manipulation, and what it does, it protects power. All us peasants at the lower level, yet they uphold the law against us, and we are held accountable to that and get punished. But it always seems to protect power and wealth and absolve them of consequence. And you'll see what is happening in Trump's America. What he is doing, which is unlawful, against the law, breaking existing laws, and yet, how is he being held to account? What is the court doing? Now, at some point, some think might intervene. But what damage has been done? How long does it take? And what has been achieved? Who has gained the billions during that period of tyranny? And at what point do they then go, yeah, you've served your purpose now. You've done what we needed you to do. That has enabled us to gain what we wanted to gain. And now we'll impose the law on that now to say that that's not allowed. And here's the consequence. Who's in control of that? These are the tools of, let's call it the establishment. People might call it the deep state, whatever they want to call it. There are aligned interests that are the powerful influences in the world that benefit from what is illegal. But what are the courts doing about that? Which police forces are investigating that? What is the world's media telling you about that in terms of the truth? Again, these are all tools of that to inform us using the media of what they want us to believe it to be, to investigate the things that they want investigating, but to ignore the other things. So policing and things, agencies such as Serious Fraud Office, they won't investigate unless they're tasked to investigate. TV won't tell you about it. Courts won't do anything about it. Governments turn a blind eye to it. This is the reality of it. And we could come up with countless examples. Post office scandal, for example. 1999 was when postmasters started suffering when this Horizon system was introduced into post offices. Numerous postmasters suffered. They were accused of stealing from the post office. Many of them were. Post office told each one individually, no, it's just you that's got shortfalls in your accounting, so it must be you that's stealing from us. They set the police force. The post office was a government organisation owned by the government. So they put the police onto them. And rather than listen to these postmasters saying, there's a problem with the system here, I'm not stealing, I never have stolen, I'm not stealing. No, the police are utilised to oppress those people who are accused of the crime by the government agency. Then they're used to the courts. And these people that are trying to say, no, I'm innocent of this, no, the courts punish them. When those take legal action against the post office to say, no, you're trying to take action against me, I'll take action against you, the courts bankrupt them. The media told you nothing. 17 years after it began, then what? Then, after 555 of them get together, after finding each other and realising they were all victims of the same thing, only then did things start happening. A lawyer decided, there's money that can be made here, so now I'll do something. How many MPs had it reported to them and did nothing for the person that was in their constituency that was being impacted by it? How many members of Parliament, government, ignored it, did nothing? How many police forces intervened in prosecuting and criminalising these postmasters, which were the victims? What was revealed in media? Until eventually it went to court, because money can be made. It took private investigators who had integrity and wouldn't turn a blind eye to the corruption to then go, no, we're going to do this. The court system tried to bankrupt them. The legal process tried to bankrupt them to prevent them getting justice. This is the manipulation of the court and the legal process to protect power. Getting justice should not cost money. But eventually they did. 17 years. And then the media made a documentary drama about it. And it was only then that the people of the world, the people of our country, got to see what was going on. And it wasn't explained to them via that media, but via that series, really, the real mechanics of what was taking place here. Some of which I've just spoken about. These are the tools of the establishment. They protect power, they protect wealth. They protect those that are at positions in society to have the controlling influence. These are the billionaires that ultimately own the governments. They bribe the government officials, they bribe your MPs. Your MPs don't vote for you. They vote for the interests of these billionaires, these multinationals, these conglomerates, so that it enables them to make loads of money and exploit us by doing so. And then they don't get held to account because these systems, such as law enforcement, such as policing, such as the courts, well, they're set up in such a way to then mean that these billionaires, the established wealth, they can try to bankrupt you before you can hold them to account. They can put you under duress for 4 years, causing you an immense amount of stress and hardship before you can hold them to account. They've got judges that can interpret the law, and the law says that they've done nothing wrong. And they've got barristers that can propose this law or that law or another law. We can play our potion card. We can play our invisible cloak card in the game of the legal back and forth. It's all a construct. It's an absolute construct. So I'll give you some more examples of that in future videos, but this is where we stand. Gradually, from what I'm seeing, more and more are waking up to it. More and more people are seeing what is really happening. And when that happens, we might have a chance. We might have a chance of holding them to account. But at the moment, they would just either try and quash it or kill us. Yeah, that happens. That happens. You become a threat to them. You become a threat to their position. They eliminate that threat. Be clear. Anyway, thanks for your time, and be back soon.